All right, guys, I wanted to kind of take an aside here and talk in length of how KFA came to be. I like to know the dirty details, and I really don't know much about the company. I've seen a little bit of posts you've done on social media just randomly, but you're down in South Africa and not here. I was kind of like, well, but now that you're here and you're in my market, our market, I do want to know how things came to be. So if you could introduce yourself and just kind of start. I understand that you purchased the company, but like, what did you do before this?
I'm Stefan. I am the majority shareholder of Kitplanes for Africa, and I bought the company approximately 15 years ago. I was in a partnership. Before that, I was actually farming.
You're a farmer.
I was a farmer. But anyway, so I was a plant farmer, let's call it that way. Okay. I was always interested in flying, and I started flying microlights, trikes. And
did you do any crop dusting?
Unfortunately not. Okay. I actually wanted to, and I'm busy building one now. But I got involved in the flying thing, and the bug bit me severely. So when I sold my farm, I was wondering, what am I going to do now? I really wanted to go into aviation. So, long story short, I eventually accumulated enough hours to become an instructor. So I started instructing on microlights. At that point, I already had my PPL, so my private pilot's license, but no money to fly. So I had to fly something more affordable. People think you always start at the high levels. You always start at the bottom and you work yourself up. So microlights, started instructing, and then I started looking around for an aircraft that I can use in my school that is robust, that is easily fixable. So I started flying all sorts of different aircraft, and I don't want to mention the names, but nearly everything in the market. And eventually I came back to the Bush Baby, and this aircraft intrigued me. A bit rough around the edges, but it was a real bush plane, and it flew nice, and it was local support in South Africa. And I started nagging the owner of the company to sell the company to me, because I could see that he was struggling a little bit at that point and not really interested in the company anymore. So basically at that point I nagged him for 6 months, and after 6 months he basically gave in, and he said, right, okay, let me sell you the company. So I bought the company with another partner who was more skilled in the technical side of aviation, because I come from the piloting and mechanical engineering side, but not aviation mechanical engineering. And that's how I got into the company. We built it up, and we then certified the products, developed new products, qualified myself in the aviation industry. And it's like with anything else, like I told you yesterday, it's not what you do from 8 to 5, but what you do from 5 to 8 that puts you ahead of the bunch. Yeah. So that's what I did.
All right, so explain to everybody and me where exactly you are in South Africa, and what is the warehouse, what does the shop look like, and what are your capabilities at that shop?
Okay, so we at the Petite Airfield just outside of Johannesburg. It's just on the edge of the city, so we're on a farm, but basically in town. So everything is accessible. We have 44 hectares of airfield, which is, 88, 90 acres or something. And 21 hangars, some private occupiers of hangars. And then we also have the factory buildings, which is approximately 20,000 square feet. So in square meters, 6,500 square meters. And we're constantly expanding. So we have mostly in-house capabilities, CNC, welding, composite. So everything is developed in-house. We normally start with CAD drawings, and then CAD models, and then work our way up to actually building a product. So we have 3D printing capabilities and all sorts of manufacturing. So we geared for this.
So we talked in the initial video about your lead times, which are very short right now, but between 3 and 6 months. So is the reason for that because you do have all CNC, including tubing benders and notchers and so forth, or?
Yeah, we actually don't have notches, believe it or not. We do it by hand because it's much quicker for us. And but we have CNC machines. We have a company doing our laser cutting, so we don't have our in-house laser, but we manufacture as much as we can in-house so that we have control over quality, and also when when parts have to be delivered, because if you are reliant on a supplier, you're always fighting the supplier. So
you can't control what you can't control.
That's it. So we brought everything back under our own control. Originally, when we bought the company, a lot of the parts were outsourced, from suppliers. But it's then difficult to keep your finger on quality. So we brought everything in-house again, and that actually increased our manufacturing capacity, because we can also focus on what we needed at that point. If you buy from a manufacturer, you have to buy 100 parts, which you only need 10. And so we could focus a little bit more where we actually need the parts.
So, including yourself, about how many employees do you have there in South Africa?
I would have to ask my wife that. I just make the coffee in the company.
Oh, roughly?
Close to 40.
Yeah, so I try to explain to people in aviation that, especially in the kit market, that we think of this as a really big industry and like has hundreds and hundreds of employees and a man to do every last task. And usually it's a small business with less than 20 employees and wearing many hats, like yourself. How many hats do you wear during the day?
All of them.
See, you're answering their phone and you're in the back grinding metal too.
I always joke I only make the coffee, but yeah, we do everything. So I do not employ people that are only single-skilled. They are all multi-skilled, because you cannot afford to have somebody just sitting behind a lathe the whole day. They must be able to do other stuff. So that's our philosophy, and it's worked. So it means we can keep the amount of employees down, and we can focus more on our employees and look after them better.
So this KFA has been around for a long time, and then you've owned it for the past
15 years. Yeah, it was 15 years.
15 years. So it's been around.
Yeah.
And you plan on being around for quite some time.
Well, I hope my son or my daughter will be taking over. So he's already flying. My daughter is studying. So we'll see what happens. But I think the company will be around and I hope the company will be around for a very long time. We've been around for 31 years, and we've grown the company from a single garage setup to a major manufacturing organization. So with 600-700 aircraft flying.
Oh, well, thanks for taking a minute explaining the genesis or the origins of KFA, and we'll have to talk in the future. I'd like to share with you all exactly what the factory looks like and maybe even get a factory tour.
You are most welcome. My office stands.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you in the next episode. We are partnering with great companies like Dynon Avionics at Dynon.com, Airtech Coatings at AirtechCoatings.com, Clemens Insurance at ClemensInsurance.net, South Mississippi Light Aircraft at FlySMLA.com, Foxtrot 95, Calhoun County Airport at FlyFoxtrot95.com, Edge Performance at EdgePerformance.no. Take a moment to go visit their websites at the links found below in the description of this video. And visit our website at ExperimentalAircraftChannel.com for events, our video library arranged in easy-to-find playlists on specific topics, and so much more.